Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Greek Wine Club podcast. I'm Ari, and with me is my co-host and wine guru, Foti Stamos. How are you, Foti?
I'm well in yourself, Ari.
I'm doing very well. We usually have joyous occasion when we do the Greek Wine Club podcast because anything that has to do with Greek wine usually makes us joyful. But we're going to
Read.
kind of talk about something that's a little bit more somber in today's world, and but it's important. It's something important to talk about and something important to inform people on. So let me turn it over to you so you could kind of get us
Well,
started.
absolutely. Thank you for highlighting this concern about the fact that, yes, when you think of wine, you think of joyous moments. Is that the word?
Joyous.
Joyous moments. Yes, but we often don't think about what happens behind the scenes of this wonderful product, and it all starts from the vineyards where they grow the grapes, right? And lately, Greece has been progressively experiencing in the last 5 years extreme weather during the summer in the sense of high levels of heat or high temperatures that are above average. Okay, Greece, hot, right? It's normal, hard, beach time, beach weather. You would think that that's pretty normal, but when temperatures do rise to a certain level, it does make a difference when it comes to farming. And everything is relevant to the amount of sunlight, the amount of heat during the day. And this whole ecosystem is very precise on what's going to happen to crop. So long story short, not to get too technical, Ari, is that this season that we just came across, 2023, I think Greece has experienced some of the most highest temperatures ever recorded. There were extreme heat waves across the country that were surpassing in Fahrenheit over 115 degrees consistently. And it was above 100 degrees even at sunset. So when
And
that's happening,
this is something I really feel strongly that people should not normalize this. I talk to a lot of people and they're like, yeah, well, it's summer. Summers are hot. No, don't normalize it. Normalizing makes the situation worse. Normalizing makes it so much worse.
okay.
And we're seeing the effects of this. And we can't say that, yeah, well, that's how it is. No, it really isn't. And the winemakers, amongst many other things going on in the world, are living
So
proof that this is not normal.
for Greece specifically, as an agricultural country, the two main crops that are going to have a huge impact on its economy are olives and
Hmm.
grapes. So a lot of olive groves are not producing the fruit that they need or the crop that they need to produce olive oil, and vineyards are not producing the right amount of grapes to produce wine. So when that is being affected, there's going to be a chain of domino effects going to occur in the near future. So because of these droughts and because we're not able to have the same yields of crop, we're going to see a decline in production for the following year. It could last a couple more years. And unfortunately, the increase in pricing of our wine. Now, as bad as it sounds, yes, I think that it's going to stink, or I should say it's going to suck, that we're going to be subject to even higher prices. But it shouldn't also deter us because of the fact that at the same token, there are plenty of wineries that are just starting to emerge from other parts of Greece that haven't been affected as much. And we're hoping and banking on our importers and distributors to bring these products to market soon for us. But I want our audience to be mindful that, these extreme temperature, climate changes that are happening are going to have an effect, whether it's our Greek wine or it's going to be happening from products across the whole European landscape, whenever France, Italy, Spain, and so forth. So we want to definitely create awareness. We definitely want that we're on top of making sure that we are trying to source whatever we can from whoever we can to try to bring wines of what we believe are great quality, great production, great efforts. But unfortunately, nature, has a stronger hold than we can. So we're going to be subject to some change moving forward in the next couple of years. Hopefully it doesn't last that longer. The speculation is, will the following year, 2024, also follow the same suit of these extreme temperature changes and droughts?
Well, you have to look at trends, right? The last 3 years have been the three hottest years in recorded history.
Right.
So how would next year, I mean, how much of a difference can possibly happen next year? It may not ring on the hottest as the last 3 years did, but even if it doesn't, that's still going to be higher than the average of what we're accustomed to the last like 50
Right.
years.
Now,
So
I should
that's a tough call right there.
tough call, and I should also mention that I'm sure there's a lot of situations in Greece that occurred this summer due to wildfires, and I'm sure that's been on many of our minds about, what's going on in Greece. All of a sudden, I know that fires have been happening, but now there's so many of them. This is like, even this is progressing. The amount of fires that are happening all over the country. The
All over the world.
fires,
Look at Hawaii. Look at Canada. Look at all these places.
right? It's wild. And when it comes to the wine industry, the fires haven't had that much of an impact because they haven't destroyed that many vineyards to begin with. But there are locations and areas that have been affected by the areas have been affected by the fires, that somewhere along the line they're related to someone who's farming for grapes. It's affecting it's going down the chain. So even though the vineyards might not have not been affected by that specific fire, there's a whole domino effect that's happening in those areas that had fires. Whether there's buildings that have been destroyed, whether there have been families that have been displaced, whether there are people that were working on the farms that had to leave, it's causing a whole domino effect at the moment. We're going to pray that things get better sooner than later, so that we are able to have
also vote accordingly for things to get better.
Because what I'm going to say right now is, us in this market, for me or for you or for all of us, this is to me a luxury to be able to have great wine coming from Greece into the market, where there's a lot of love and effort and exhaustion that goes into this bottle, so that I can pour a glass of this and take a sip and just enjoy, right? So in order for us to continue being able to do this, we have to be mindful of what's happening in our world. And right now, we're having a moment. And that moment is that a lot of crazy things are happening in our microclimates, our ecosystems, where we should kind of, accept that this is happening, and what are we going to do moving forward so that we can help limit this situation, right?
Yeah.
So even though we hear about these, these terms that are being thrown out at climate change, global warming, that it's having an impact in Greece, and because we are, a Greek-centric podcast, and we are discussing, Greek products, wine specifically.
Well, something that is well known and has been happening for a long time is masses of people don't really worry about something until it affects them personally. So it's easy to just kind of brush off stuff you see on the news. Yeah, that's happening. Yeah, that's happening. But it's like, whatever. If it doesn't affect me, like, I'm not putting too much thought into it. But you know what? This is actually getting to a point where it's going to start affecting all of us.
All of us.
And in true human fashion, the way people are in general is they're not going to consider it a problem or believe it's even a problem until it literally is too late. And you know what? There's so many reasons why that's wrong, but use wine as like the perfect example. Like, don't wait till wine is like $100 a bottle for a regular bottle of wine because they're having so much trouble with supply and with vineyards and with everything. Like,
Right.
This is something that people need to like start focusing on now before it gets worse. And like we said before, last 3 years have been trending to the record-breaking levels. It's like, yeah, it's not just hot. It's like there's something happening, and that's going to affect a lot of things, and the wine industry is one of them. And we really need to like open up our eyes and say, what can we do? What can we do? What can each person do?
And you heard it from us first. I'm going to put that out, Ari. I'm sure there's going to be other possible reports and episodes on media, but you're hearing it from us first. Don't be upset in that, next year when you start to pay double for your olive oil. There's no way around it.
It's
So if you're
crazy.
paying $35 for your beloved 3-liter can of your preferred olive oil from Greece, don't be upset and don't be shocked if that $35 can will now be $50 plus.
That's insane.
Don't be upset next year when your beloved wine that you love from Greece is $25 a bottle, but now it's going to be $35 a bottle. It's just, unfortunately, that's the reality that we're going to face. We should be prepared for it, and not make us think about it and blame it on the industry. Don't blame it on the family that's farming. Don't blame it on price gouging, because that's what, usually that's the first train of thought is, no, this
Nope.
is real. This is what's happening. If you are ever to take a moment and visit Greece during this time, not to the beach, go visit these vineyards and farms and actually see the devastation that's happened, you would be alarmed.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been, but I'm very alarmed because it's just one of those things where it's getting worse and worse, and people are really going to start to notice, and we need to do something. Everybody, no individual person is going to solve this, but everybody getting on the same, you know, mindset can actually make some change, and that's what we need.
Absolutely.
100%.
So I'm gonna actually have a glass and cheer to a hopeful tomorrow.
While it's still inexpensive.
Yes, I bought. You know, I I would say maybe invest in tons of inventory for now, so that
Well, on that note, that wine that Foti is enjoying is available on Greekazon, and it's still at a reasonable price. So, yeah, get on Greekazon and get some wine because it is
absolutely.
so good. And yeah, I mean, this was a little more of a somber podcast, but it's the truth, man. We need to really start thinking. We really do.
And we will update you. Keep watching our episodes. We'll constantly give you information from the inside, from our perspective.
All right. Thank you so much, Foti. And everybody out there, thank you for watching and listening once again. And yeah, please keep it in mind, keep it at the forefront of your thoughts. It is happening and it is going to affect a lot of things. Some things more than others, some things quicker than others. But in the end, it's all going to be affected. So just keep that in mind and do what you can do. Thanks again.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye bye.